Welcome to this yet another session of Millennial Mastermind. Today we are almost at the end of this 2021, the year which we are in, and kind of getting into 2022. A very limited, a week plus, kind of maybe 12 days remaining to get there and get started with a complete new year. Normally, a new year is something that we take with so many planning, so many things. For everyone, the new year matters a lot. Why it matters is a question. That why the new year, right from our childhood to our working age to we keep growing, new year is always something that we keep planning and we keep doing something. The one factor is that the year changes a lot. It actually changes you a lot. Throughout the year, we basically keep working, keep improving. So we succeed throughout the year, we fail throughout the year, we achieve throughout the year, we lose throughout the year, we make mistakes. Either we learn from those mistakes or we make those mistakes again and again. Whatever happens, this we keep doing throughout the year. If we learn from our mistakes, it's always better. But if we are repeating the mistake, this actually keeps happening. And therefore, when you actually step into another year, it becomes very, very important to relook on the whole thing, look back the whole year, that what actually was done, whether the repeat of the mistakes were done or we had learned from some mistake. We developed some maturity, we learned something, we gained something, and all that. So in one word, have we upgraded ourselves? So upgrade, did the upgrade happen in this year? And are we planning enough to really upgrade something in the next year? We accept the changes. Have we accepted, or we are reluctant for change and we are not able to accept, and we are suffering from that? So I mean, all that things put together, there is a need where a planning or something is required at the new year. In other words, a better version of yourself needs to be created in the new year. A better version of yourself. Because whenever you're talking about all these, that everything is changing, right from your behavior to your things, and everything you're trying to make it better all the year around, whether it is your work life, your personal life, your something, you actually trying to juggle it out and wanted to make it better. In other words, you wanted a better version of yourself. You want to create a better version of yourself, whatever version you have. So you are basically trying to upgrade, and that's a continuous process we keep doing. But then when we try to upgrade, are we really planning it well and we are supporting it with the real effort to really upgrade? Or we are just thinking or wishing that we will upgrade? If we wish that I will do this, if we wish that I will lose weight, if I wish I will earn more, it is just a wish, it is just a desire. To make it executed, it is something that needs to be supported with realistic plan, the real tactics, and the resources or the intention or the efforts required for it. So all put together, there is always a line that when we are trying to create a better version of yourself, especially when you are trying to do New Year resolution, or with year ending, you are trying to add something, this becomes a important factor. In a process, you become better version. Whatever you were in personal life, in your professional life, in your family life, in your relationship, wherever you are, in your health, in your fitness, you become a better. But better version of what? Kis cheez ka better version? What do you actually compare with? Better than him, better than her, better than someone? What actually? Better version ka comparison kya hai? Benchmarking kya hai? What is the benchmarking? I want you to keep responding. If you can respond or maybe type in the chat box, would be better, so that we can make that discussion more meaningful. So better than whom? Better than what? So what is the benchmarking actually, if we call it? Any answer? Say, for example, if I want to be better in earning, better than whom? Better in terms of something, better than whom? Better than what? What is the benchmarking that we have taken? For everything, there is a benchmarking. And therefore, the golden nugget that I have taken today in this mastermind is benchmarking, art of benchmarking. So golden nugget today is art of benchmarking. Art of benchmarking yourself. How you benchmark yourself. And I'm going to tell you the 3 steps, which if you plan and if you kind of go through it, get a grip on it, you making New Year resolution would be the perfect one. And I hope everyone wants to have a New Year resolution that is perfect one. Perfect in the sense, it should be realistic and it should be achievable. It should not fizzle out on 14th of January and 28th of January, and by February it should be finished. It is not that. If it is perfect, it will sustain and it will actually be there. Because you have planned it realistic and you have planned it. And perfect also has one meaning, that it is covering all the desires that you have, and we will work on that also today. So art of benchmarking yourself has got 3 steps that I'm talking about. And this is the step. You assess, you connect, and you implement. Assess, connect, implement. And this, if you master these 3 steps, you can say that you have the art of benchmarking yourself. And I'll explain you quickly one by one. This first one, we are talking about assess yourself. When you are actually going to plan for New Year, you are trying to create New Year resolution, you are trying to, foresee the New Year for an upgraded version of you, a better version of yourself. You actually need to do the first step, and first step is assess yourself. And how do you assess it? Simple step. Begin by writing down the strength and competencies of yourself. Write down the strength and competencies of yourself. Only strength, no SWOT analysis. Don't get into opportunity and threat and all that. Get into only one thing called the strength and competency of yourself. Strictly do not write your weakness, because they do not really matter for your New Year planning. Do not write your weakness. When you can leverage and channelize your strength, the weakness does not matter. So highlight, find out, dig down, and take out the weakness is complete no. Talk about your strength, talk about your competencies, and look back the whole year that what was your strength, what was your competency, and take that out. So that's one. This is assess yourself. By just writing down, you will start assessing yourself that kya strength hai hamare paas. All that, every aspect mein you can write down the strength. And then the second step talks about you connecting. So connect, and connect to the core. And what is your core? Start asking yourself, ask yourself a simple question, that what I really want, what makes me truly happy and feel satisfied in all areas, right from the relationship to your earning, to your health, to your fitness, to your work satisfaction, to your business growth, anything. Just think only one line in each aspect, that what makes me truly happy and feel satisfied, what makes me truly happy and feel satisfied, and keep getting answer in that domain. For example, if there is some relationship, think of that what makes you truly happy and feel satisfied in that relationship. Think of every aspect. In every domain, same question. What makes you really happy? What is that you really desire? And keep jotting this down. And if you do that, you would be able to really get to your core. You will connect to your core. Once you know what you want, It will create a clear picture of the person you want to become. And that's what we say, that who you want to become. By assessing was the first step. After assessing, you come to connect. And in connect, this is a big task. And if assessing is not properly done, this connect will be half. Connect will not be proper. It will not be perfect. And if the connect is not perfect, you will not be able to sketch the picture of that person who you want to become. That person is very important. You need to have a crystal clear picture of that person, that who you want to become. For example, if I want to earn more, who I want to become. I want to become a person who earns this much, who has a value of time like this, and who has this, who has this, who has good this lifestyle, who does this, who does this, who does not like this, who does not like this. Everything is perfect clear. You want to become a person in terms of behavior, become a person who will have all habit. You want to be, a person who is fit and BMI less than 25, or maybe weight less than 70 or something. You think of a person who you want to become. You want to become a person whose BMI is 23 and below, whose weight is 65 kg and below, who is fit, who is this, who is this. Write down all that. And then start connecting with that person. And then you will find that the person cannot take that vada pav or deep fried stuff or trans fat stuff or something. That person cannot be sedentary. That person cannot be this, cannot be this. If you have dreamed that you want to earn 5,000 rupees per hour, then that person, 5 minutes will be very costly. And what will be that 5 minutes? So whether you are that person, so you need to kind of connect to your core. And connecting the core ke pehle, I would say that you need to be very specific, that you need to complete your assess part completely. Take down a paper. Let us again recap. Assess was what? Assess was, this was assess. Assess was talking about start writing down. Take a mota notebook, chota notebook, pad, whatever, iPad, something, and start writing down only your strength and competencies. Only strength, no weakness. Because if you kind of leverage on your strength, channelize that, you do not need to worry about weakness at all. Because that is where, once you think of the weakness, your connect does not happen. When you connect to your core, and if you have listed down the weakness, or the mind is, thinking about the weakness, you would find out a lot of limitations. Mere se to ye nahi hoga, mere se wo nahi hoga. Wo theek hai, that he can do, but perhaps I cannot do. मेरे पास तो ये प्रॉब्लम्स है, मेरे पास ये लिमिटेशंस हैं, मेरा वर्किंग कैपिटल का प्रॉब्लम है, मेरा इसका प्रॉब्लम है, मेरे टीम का प्रॉब्लम है, मेरा अवेलेबिलिटी का प्रॉब्लम है, मेरा ये लिमिटेशन, वो लिमिटेशन. Do not think of limitation. Think only of your competencies. Think only of your strengths, and then come to this connect. So right now I'm explaining you the second step of this is connect to core. And your core needs to decide, needs to draw the clear picture, crystal clear picture, a sharp picture, not a blur picture, sharp picture of the person who you want to become in all the aspects. And we are going to talk about the 9 aspects in this session itself. So you need to kind of paint that out, and that is something that who you want to become. Once you have made this picture, and once you have made this picture really clear and sharp, write down what competencies and value system you need further to develop and realize this picture in your life. Because you need to develop some value system. You need to adopt some kind of thing. You need to break those bad habits. You need to build those good habits. You need to change those habits. And you need to incorporate all that. So this is a very hard and tough path that you're talking about, that you need to be very clear. And the more you love that person, the more you are very crystal clear about that person, this path will be easier. The more crystal clear the person picture is, the clearer the path will be. If the picture is little blur, the path will be tough, because you are not very, much clear that why you need to reach there, where you need to reach. So the path is not very clear, that who you want to become. So one word statement, that who you want to become. If you think on that line, it will be very clear. Define a short-term and long-term SMART goal. Long-term goal always has to be a SMART goal, SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, and you should be very clear about that particular system that you are going to take for that particular goal. And it should be it should be time specific. It cannot be vague. You are, specific, you are measurable, you are everything, but the timeline you have not given, that by when you want to lose that 10 kg. So time is specific. So you become that. And when you do that, this long-term and short-term goal, you set and do that, align this to this picture, who you want to become, because everything is for that picture, and you need to, align that out. Now let us talk about the third one, which is implement. The third one is implement that change. जो भी change आपने plan किया, उसको implement करना है. And you are not implementing today. You are going to implement from 1st January, because you are talking about this plan for 1st January to 31st December 2022. This is the New Year resolution that you are talking about. When you talk that, implementation is going to happen, but there is always to think about implementing, whether there is a gap there. To fill that gap, to ensure that there is no gap there, you need to, work on implementation. And now that you are, clear on about your core, you are connected to your core, that who you want to become is very crystal clear. Then it becomes much practical and easier to think about the implementation. Now you need to start working on these competencies based on time-driven sustainable plan. It has to be a plan, it has to be sustainable, but it has to be time-driven plan. It has to be sustainable, no doubt about it, but it has to be time-driven sustainable plan. If you make that, it's a complete, gist of your New Year resolution. If you make a resolution with this format, the resolution cannot be artificial. Resolution cannot be vague. It cannot be Hawaii resolution. It has to be realistic, and it will be actually practiced by you without fail. You will not fail on those resolutions, because it will work. So when you think of that NYR in your implementation, there is another thing which is going to come. That is hurdles. There are a lot of hurdles that you are aware of, and there are hurdles that will come in between. So is there any consideration done for that hurdle when you are planning the implementation? So you say that I will reach office, and you have planned this out, that I will start, say, in 15 minutes, and it will take 45 minutes, and all that you have planned, and you have started. But then you did not realize that the toll naka had got 1 kilometer long jam, and then you did not realize that there was a metro getting constructed, and there were road blockage, and there was something. You had not planned all that. But then the meeting scheduled at that time was already scheduled. The arriving time at the office was already scheduled. There was no planning that 5 minutes late. There was no cushion. That time you were clear at, and start time you were clear at, that this time you will start. So you had not planned for those hurdles, and therefore you failed. What failure did was, you got irritated. You were, very much disturbed for all that 45 minutes. You finally reached late, and all that happened. But why? Because the hurdles were not taken into consideration. And therefore I say that when we are getting started on 1st January to 31st December 2022, what are the hurdles? In every aspect: health, fitness, relationship, money, work, project, personal life, everything. Think of the hurdles. What are the hurdles? And are those hurdles taken into consideration? And once you have identified your hurdles, you need to plan that out. How to tackle those hurdles, how to, manage those hurdles, or how to avoid those hurdles. And once you have planned that, then your benchmarking makes a lot of sense. And the best way to benchmark it, and therefore I am going to talk about benchmarking to you now. The art of benchmarking is what we have taken as a golden nugget today. And when we talk about performance, there is always a benchmark. And why I'm talking this benchmarking today, because when you talk about New Year resolution, the benchmarking is not done, or maybe benchmarking done is not correctly done. Why? Because we think that this we will achieve in comparison to something. And what is that something? Something might be your past experience. Something might be what you have done in the past. And that might be complete misleading. and that will fail your New Year resolution. So what needs to be done is you need to kind of work on this benchmarking. Benchmarking, of course, is an art. It is a science, everything. But are we really clear on that? How do we do our benchmarking? How do you benchmark yourself? Most people make their planning on the basis of what they are today. And that's a mistake. They make this mistake. They benchmark according to their past performance or what they have today. And that goes wrong. Let me explain this. For example, if I am walking and I'm taking, say, 2,000 steps and I'm complete sedentary. And I'm trying to say that, okay, I will double this out. I will make it 4,000 steps. You take a step by step, no problem. But that 4,000 is not a sufficient number. You need to benchmark it not on the basis of what you are today. Take the another case of benchmarking. If someone is earning X amount today and he wants to earn some X, now if he feels कि no, X है तो 2X कर सकते हैं, 3X कर सकते हैं, I cannot make that. So the idea is you are benchmarking with what you are today, or you are benchmarking with what is resource available with you today, or you are benchmarking with whatever the situation is today. That means you are still trying to operate in your comfort zone. You are not thinking out of the box. You are not taking into consideration that your planning also includes changing those situations. Your planning also must include changing the resources that you have. Your planning must include changing the perspective that the whole thing you are looking at. If you are not doing all that, then you are actually thinking in a closed box, and you are thinking in your comfort zone that this is what is possible. And the best statement given for this is, I am doing my best. Everyone is doing their best, and this is what is happening. So I would say that with respect to comfort zone, you need to, think of this benchmarking, and benchmarking has to be a little different. It has to be taken into consideration of one thing, that who you want to become. And therefore, we completed that exercise where you actually went to your core and you actually decided that core, that who you want to become. Who you want to become is very specific. That person, for example, I am smoking and I want to quit smoking. Now, if I want to think that whether I will be able to leave or not, ek kam kar sakta hu, nahi kar sakta hu, and all that, or I say that I want to become a person who does not smoke, never smokes. If this is the statement, then it does not make a sense whether I am a chain smoker or I'm not. Whatever it takes, I will do to become that person who I want to become. In terms of habit, in terms of happiness, in terms of money, in terms of relationship, in terms of anything for that matter. So be specific that who you want to become, and that should be the benchmark. I'm going to tell you few things in the coming slides that will be actually thought-provoking for you, and that will help you to make your NYR better in 2022. Are you ready for that? Shall I give you some thought-provoking pointers? I'm going to give you at least 3-4 pointers on that. Great. So let us get started with these pointers. I'll give you 3 pointers. The start of the pointer is this line, is that your comfort zone is not a good benchmark. So when you are making the New Year resolutions, all the New Year resolutions that you made in the past, those failed was only because of this, that it was based on your comfort zone. And when you actually tried to stretch out of that comfort zone on 14th January, on 30th January, or in mid-February, that fizzled out and that finished. Why? Because it was not planned that way. It was planned keeping your comfort zone into consideration. And you said that you will lose weight, and that the steps that you had planned was all, going out of the comfort zone, and you were willing to be in the comfort zone and you remained there. Same is the case with your, when you wanted to do your 3 sessions of your deep work, all that did not happen. You tried it and happened 1 or 2 weeks and it did not happen. Why it did not happen? Time blocking blocks you could not manage because it was not in your comfort zone. Every time you planned something, it was not in the comfort zone. So therefore, your comfort zone is not a good benchmark. And I'm going to tell you 3 things. Number 1 is this. When you are not used to being confident, confidence feel like arrogance. This is a thought-provoking point I'm giving you. And the objective of all these 3 thought-provoking points is to make sure that this time when you work on your New Year resolution, you actually are very, very specific and clear, and you're not biased with all this. Think of this line. And you will find that this is the line which actually is the hurdle. When you are not used to, being confident, when you feel confidence, you feel like arrogance अंदर से, and subconscious कहता है कि नहीं ये थोड़ी सी arrogancy तो नहीं हो रही है मेरी तरफ से, and you again lose your confidence and you're never there. So you need to very well understand and draw a line between being confident and being arrogant and what you are. Because if you're not confident of things that you're doing, if you're not confident of the steps that you're taking, you're not confident of the tactics that you have planned for achieving that goal for which you are working on, whether it is personal or professional, that will fail. That has to fail sooner or later. And if you kind of are stuck in this arrogance versus confidence, there is a problem. So this is one insight which I wanted to give. Insight number 2 I want to give is this. When you are used to being passive, most of us are, whether we know it or not, assertiveness feels like aggression. And you always feel that I'm getting aggressive. I should not be that aggressive. Being aggressive is a different thing, and I'm not advocating that. You should not be. But then, what about assertiveness? It's connected with your goal. That's connected with your execution. That is connected with the tactics that you have taken, implementation of those tactics. So if you are not having that assertiveness, if you're not firm on this, you're not going to work. And then you are confusing it with your aggression. And this is where it is. So this is thought-provoking point number 2. And the third point which I wanted to give you for thought provocation is this, that when you are not used to getting your needs met, your self needs met, prioritizing yourself feels selfish. Your subconscious says most of the time that I'm becoming selfish. And this happens with most of us in work. In your work table, where you have never prioritized your own need. So what happens is, it feels like being selfish. This happens in personal life also, in your family, in your friends, in your relationship. Always happens that you have never been able to, give importance to yourself or meeting your need. And whenever you prioritize yourself in something, you feel like, am I becoming selfish? Women do it at home always. So women never take care of themselves. They do not talk about their own thing and their own thing, right from food to clothing to rest to health to medicine to something. And whenever they feel, do one step, they feel that I'm becoming selfish. Any person in the family feel that they're becoming selfish. How many of you relate with this? Just give me some response in the chat box. How many of you relate with this, that you feel selfish? And in work domain, this happens big way. That you keep doing, and you, when you try do that, you become, and you feel that you are becoming selfish. So this is a factor, and this factor makes you, a person who will never be able to say no. And I think we have done a couple of sessions on this in our MHF, where we say how to say no. Learn how to say no, because if you do not say no, everything is slotted for you, and that will happen from the same resource and same time. So you will be not able to achieve your long-term goal because you will be actually busy with that particular thing, because you've not been able to say no to it. Anyone and everyone is, coming to you and you're not saying no to anyone. So art of saying no is possible only when you actually understand this particular thing. So in all these slides, or the pointers that I explained you understood one thing, that art of benchmarking is important. We need to learn art of benchmarking before planning, whether it is New Year or whether it is planning anything for that matter. And assess, connect to the core, and implement is the three things that we learned today. And the three concepts, that insight thing that I gave you, that is the confidence, the assertiveness, and this prioritizing. These three insights, if you kind of have understood all this, the three steps: connect, assess, connect, and implement, and the three insights. If you have understood all this well, then you are in a better position to plan your new year and make a perfect NYR, because you need to make a perfect NYR. And when you make the NYR, basically you think of all the goals that you have, goals for 2022 for that matter, and you make the NYR for that. And when we say goal, there is a broad term to be taken, and that is to live the life you desire. Because in our core, when we were actually assessing what we were thinking, that think of what is your competency, and in our core, we were thinking that who you want to become. That means to live the life you desire, because who you want to become is the desire, that you want to become a person like this, because that is your desire. So to live the life you desire, when you think of the goal of this part, the goal always can be vast. When you think of this, there will be so many things, and goal will be always vast. It will be a paragraph, it will be a page, it cannot be a bullet point. So the very need here is that how to make a single point agenda, and that single point agenda must include all that you have taken in this goal. How to do that? Any guests or anyone wants to say something, that how to make the whole goal, which is going to be complete vast, because we are talking about to live the life you desire, you are creating that goal. It is going to be vast. How to make a single point agenda out of it, which should include all of that. How to do that? Any answer? And that single one point agenda is this, that single one point agenda for your NYR is that core thing, where I talked about who you want to become, your present self to future self. You are present self, you are this person today, and you want to become this person tomorrow. Tomorrow is that next year. When you make the new year resolution at the next year, December, you should be very specific and clear that you have become that person. So who you want to become in next year, by next year, is this person. So making single point agenda for NYR is to move from present self to future self. One line agenda, single point agenda. And that includes everything, because you have defined in your core that who you want to become. And that definition has got everything. And you have got one single point agenda now, that you want to move from this person to that person completely. And I am going to give you one more insight for this here. There's a good news and a bad news. So I'll give you the bad news first and the good news after that. And the bad news is this: the time flies. Whether you talk about din, mahina, saal, or the entire 2022, time will fly. Everything is not something, not a moment you will be able to stop. Dekhte dekhte ye, we are on 19th, and this another 10-12 days the year will be gone. So time flies, everyone knows. This is a bad news. We all know. But there's a good news, I said, and good news is you are the pilot. When we're talking about this time flying, you are actually the pilot of that time, right? So you are the pilot. Now you actually decide that what the time will be spent on. You decide every aspect of it because you are controlling that. Time is flying. Good, bad news. But you are the pilot. And what pilot does? Pilot controls almost everything. Pilot controls the speed. Pilot controls the altitude at what the aircraft is flying at. Pilot controls the degree where it is taking turn at. At the speed and degree has got some ratio. If speed is different and the degree is different, it is having a different direction altogether. Navigation, turbulence handling, because the moment you start with your agenda, there will be turbulence coming in, the hurdles coming in, and how you are going to manage the turbulence without, kind of keeping your sight away from your directions and the goals and the path and execution. A pilot is handling turbulence at the same time is announcing that seatbelt sign is on and please be on the seat and the crew be seated, please. There is a turbulence, but he is keeping his eye or she is keeping her eye on the path. He is on his control panel to manage all the turbulence at the best. And therefore, they need to reach bang on time when they actually reach somewhere. For example, if someone is, landing at a particular runway, 1 point touchdown point is fixed, maybe 1 feet here and there. And they touch down there itself because the speed, the altitude, the degree, the timing, everything is controlled perfectly and it touched down there itself. It does not touch down in some other airport or maybe in the same airport at some other location. So the pilot has got that particular, and pilot also has a couple of things, like it has got alertness. Pilot is alert always. If it is not alert, there's a problem. The pilot has got a skill, pilot has got knowledge, pilot has got maturity. So everything is there. Pilot has got learning from the experiences, and therefore number of hours they have been in the sky, flying hours count. That's the experience hours, because every flying hour has made them a better flyer, better version. And therefore you become a better version of yourself. The good news, again, one point is that we have become experienced one because we have been, learning, or making mistakes. So we are always a better version of ourselves, whether it is people handling, whether it is team handling, whether it is our own handling, whether it is money handling, whether it is working capital, finance handling, whether it is competition handling, market handling, rough weather handling, situation handling, 2020 ka COVID corona handling, or Omicron ka threat handling. All that is experience. And there is another one, is Josh hona chahiye. If you do not have Josh, then it will be a trouble. But at the same time, Hosh hona chahiye. If you have only Josh and you do not have Hosh, then there's a problem. And if you have only Hosh and there is no Josh, then that Hosh is not going to, give any significance there. So you are the pilot. Once you know this, then you can control every aspect of that minute and second and all that. Everyone has got 24 hours in a day. How you utilize that 24 hours is going to count. What you do within that 24 hours is going to count. And therefore, when you plan your New Year resolution, think of that you have got only 365 days. Think of you have got only 52 weeks. Think of you have got these many weeks off, or these many days off, or these many things done. And then think that this is limited. This cannot be unlimited. This is not plenty. Then your Netflix and all that will actually come into picture. All those useless meetings will come into picture. All those things you will start finding, they were all your productivity and entertainment factors. Netflix was the entertainment factor and those meetings were productivity factors. You will suddenly realize that all of them were hurdles. And hurdles you will start eliminating. So your approach will change. I'm saying the moment you work on this line, assess and get to your core and implement format, your way of thinking will change. You will get into standing meeting. You will do meeting in quickly and get there. You will actually start delegating. You will start, finding alternatives and team. to really do that particular work. What is happening is you will withdraw from your perfectionism syndrome also. You will start making a different relationship with people, because you will realize that, just finding a fault with this person, or maybe getting annoyed with this person, is actually destroying your 10 minutes, 15 minutes. For example, मेरा कोई colleague है, मेरा कोई senior है और junior है, जो भी है, वो मुझे irritate कर देता है whenever I actually try to tell them something or try to teach them. Either I remove him, or I kind of start dealing with him, handling with him in his language or her language. कभी कभी कितना होता है कि आपके घर में कोई काम वाले आते हैं या फिर ऑफिस में कोई होते हैं, when you realize कि इसका फॉर्मेट ही यही है, you start being little artificial and you deal with them friendly and leave them. That's art of getting work done. So when you are doing that, what you are actually doing, why it is called as art? Because you are saving that 10-15 minutes that you were otherwise destroying or spoiling because of the annoyance created because of that problem, because of dealing with that person. So start managing your all that. It will automatically start happening, because you will know that these are only limited time. It is flying and you are the pilot, and as a pilot you will not allow that 1 minute, 1 day, 1 month, 1 year to go like that. So you will actually take a full control of that. That's what is the point. New year, when we say, basically it is a new year, a new start. It has been happening right from our childhood to today, and it will keep happening. But then this new year itself can be a complete new chapter if we really plan and do it that way. It will take us to the goal which we kind of fail and do not reach. These are all those select goals, desires, and tactics, a bunch of tactics rather, to decide actually who you want to become. And today we talked only one thing, that who you want to become and how to approach and be there. And to be comprehensive and to include everything in that, we have got 9 parameters. You might have studied that in your MHF thing also. And I'm just trying to put that and repeat that here, so that you are very clear and you are incorporating that or taking this basis to make your NYR little more perfect. And these are the 9 parameters. The very first parameter is energy level. Second is health. Third is money. Money is all about your EPH and earning and all that. Habit is breaking those bad habits and getting into good habits, and with a assumption that you will be, taking one small habits every time, like James Clear. One small habit, one small habit, one small habit, and it will work. We are talking about happiness, because that's you need to define that what is that happiness thing. Fitness, and you can see that 2nd and 7th are same. It's not same. It is health and the other one is fitness. One can be fit in terms of making muscle, dole shole, and maybe 6-pack abs and things like that, keeping weight in control, keeping this and keeping that, and yet that person will be having high cholesterol, or maybe he might have a lot of cardiac risk markers, or maybe he has a blood pressure, or he has been diabetic, and he has been pre-diabetic, or maybe diabetic and not aware of it. So many problems. So it is health is one, and fitness is other one. Fitness is what is appearing to you. What appearance you are keeping is you are trying to do a fitness, and that health is another one. So keeping both separate point would give different emphasis on this. Relationship is the 8th one, and 9th is charity, because everything begins with charity. If you keep a charity factor in mind, the earning will be driven very fast. If you keep charity in mind, the item number 6 called happiness will be multiplied very fast, and you need to define your charity. It is not important that you go to a charity home and pay something there. You go to a anath ashram and feed them there, or you kind of donate this money, rupees and all that. It is not really required for charity. Everyone will have different charity. Narayan Murthy will have different charity. Ratan Tata will have different charity. I would have different, you will have different, everyone will have different charity. But you can define it out very well, so that influences your item number 6 called happiness, and that influences your item number 3 called earning per hour. So the charity will define, and worldwide charity is defining that. Microsoft always defines that how many $1 million they will be giving charity this year. And they have defined that this is going to be 2% or 5% of the total profit they get or the turnover they make. So what they do is they do not set the turnover target. They set the target of their charity. They say that this is the charity we are going to do, and this is going to be 3% of the total turnover. Now, total turnover is automatically decided, and there is a big thread and very attractive thread linked to it that I got to make this charity, and for that I got to have that particular number. Same way, you can make your target and you can set the charity to some amount, and that amount will be in two factors. One factor is your time, and the other factor is your money. You can dedicate a time that this much time you will give for charity, for helping others, for talking to others. It could be your, connect people. It could be senior citizen. It could be any social work that you save river, to save animal, to save your Paryavaran, to your something, to something. You think of anything, literacy to something, to something. You can think of anything that is your passion. That's your mission. You think of, and then dedicate that time and link that time to your total productive hour and total things. At the same time, think of some money and connect it out with something. And money could be anything. For example, I'm into health and wellness, and my company does quite a few blood tests and health checkups and things like that. I have got a supplement brand, and we create a lot of supplements and things like that. Now, all my distant relative or maybe extended family and friends and all that, I keep talking to them, and they keep taking some advices from me. And throughout the year, I keep suggesting them the blood test and health checkups and things like that. And whenever they do the checkup, I've got certain people in the list, and I book them, test for them, and the test is done for them. When I book, in spite of their insistence, the booking is done, and the payment is done online from my side. So what happens is, and these are the people who actually need that. They should be paid from someone else's. So we do that. So what happens is, I make sure that this is done. And every year I keep some figures, say 2 lakh, 5 lakh, 3 lakh. And I keep that figure that this is what is the total figure, in which I also send supplements. I also send something. I also do that. And this is my way of charity to people whom I know, the people who need. Same way, you can have your own charity format. It is not really go and donate someone whom you do not know. That can also be done. But then charity should be linked with your total earning. And this 3 lakh, 5 lakh, whatever you allocate is actually linked to your total earning, and your target is that way. This is the percentage of that. And therefore you set that out. So this is how these 9 parameters are. And once you set this out and keep this into consideration of your NYR, with respect to the pointers that we studied today, I think the NYR is going to be a perfect NYR, and that will have a very limited chance, very lesser chance, unless otherwise some Omicron or something happens that will make you, fail or make you delay. Otherwise, it is going to happen. So that's all for today's